It's October now, so we're about 2 months into the JPL season. And for me personally, it's been about 3 months in Kingston. The major changes for me have been moving into my own apartment a couple weeks ago. And last week I actually made my debut. So I want to catch up and talk about life in Kingston so far. But first we got training. It's Saturday, so that means tomorrow is match day. So this morning we had a relatively quick training session, followed by a really cold ice bath. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day right here on this couch. I'll watch a little bit of match film of the team we'll play tomorrow, and I'll also give you a tour of the new place. But first, I wanna talk about life in Kingston so far. The weather in Kingston can be summed up in 2 words easily. It's hot. I'm no stranger to playing in hot temperatures. I've played in Puerto Rico, I've played in the Philippines, and of course in the United States it can get pretty hot there too, even in New York during the summer. I just have to be a little extra careful with the sun because Caribbean sun is different, so I've made sure to keep applying my sunscreen. I've also found that when it comes to rain and storms, there's not much predictability to those patterns. When it rains, it rains. When the sun comes back out, you're good to go back outside. It's just like living in Puerto Rico where some thunderstorms would roll in unexpectedly, rain for half an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then clear out. Public transit is different from anything I've ever been used to. So there are buses, there are public buses, and they're cheap. And when they're running, they're very useful. They're nice and air conditioned and all of that. There's only one problem. After probably the late morning, there's no guarantee that the bus will actually show up at the scheduled time. So you could be waiting there for 30 minutes, for an hour. The bus might never come. The other options for public transit are called route taxis, and these are slightly more expensive than buses, but they're still fairly cheap. And these are basically cars that are registered as taxis through the Jamaican government, and they just drive on established routes, like a loop, like basically a bus, but they're cars and they're just normal everyday people driving these taxis. Some drivers are calm and very normal, and some drivers, they've got their own laws, their own customs, their own rules of the road. So it can be pretty exciting depending on what taxi you get into. The biggest advantage of these route taxis compared to buses, for example, are how much more reliable they are. There's always taxis. There's always a driver that's going to come. I might have to wait 10 minutes, but I can be pretty sure that I'm going to be able to get a ride. There are also things called chartered taxis, of people that you just call, a taxi service, and they'll take you from exactly where you are to exactly your destination, but these are going to be much more expensive. And there are also options like Uber and InDrive, which is just an Uber alternative, and these are also somewhat reliable, but of course they're more expensive. In terms of shopping and marketplaces, it depends on where you go, but downtown Kingston is by far the cheapest place to do your shopping. There are places to get groceries, there are open air markets, just people packed into the streets. It feels like Times Square. And then there are wholesale haberdasheries. So these are like thrift shops. I think of them as the comparison. So these are open storefronts with all kinds of goods, clothing, food, toiletries, beauty, hair products. And these prices are almost always way cheaper than supermarkets and grocery stores. There are plenty of options, plenty of stores, shops, people selling things on the street to get what you need every day. Now, most of the places take cash. Some places take card. It depends on where you go. A grocery store will often take credit card, but if I'm downtown in the open air market, people are taking cash. In terms of the friendliness of people, I would say Kingston and Jamaica in general, very friendly, very welcoming, very hospitable. Like all places, depending on where you go, there's going to be some people that are a little more rude, a little more rough around the edges. Taxi drivers can be just a little more curt, but I feel like people are very, very kind in Kingston and in Jamaica in general. I mean, just my teammates and my coaches have been kind. That might be expected though, but strangers on the street, people are friendly. I've had people recognize me on the street as a football player, specifically for the team that I play for, Harbour, and I've never really had that experience playing abroad before. Certainly not in the US, not at the levels that I've played in the US at least. So my experience of the people and the football culture of the area has been really positive. The biggest complaint I could have about Kingston, about Jamaica in general, would be the affordability. And anybody who's from Jamaica, anybody who's lived here, would likely say the same thing. I mean, depending on what you're talking about, certain things are cheaper, but housing in Jamaica is notoriously expensive, especially compared to the wages that people take. Also gas, if you have a car and you're driving a lot, those gas costs will add up quick. I think I did the math at one point when I was on the road, and compared to what I used to pay in New York for gas, the prices here might have been like 3 times as much. As far as like tourism and the beaches and things to do, I can't speak as much to those parts of living here because I'm mostly busy with football. So I'm either training or I'm here at my apartment just relaxing or working on my laptop. So I haven't been to the beach at all, except maybe twice for some training sessions on the beach, but it wasn't like a touristy beach. I've been once to a river where there were like waterfalls and kind of rocky, like a gorge basically, and that was really nice. I've heard that there are a lot of spots like that, a lot of swimming holes, a lot of lakes, rivers, but I haven't been that much, so I'm looking forward to doing that more. Finally, I'm going to talk about crime and safety, or at least my feeling, my experience and perception of safety in my time, my 2-3 months here in Kingston so far. I bring this up because when I was getting ready to come over here from the US, numerous people, their first reaction when hearing Jamaica was, oh my God, is it going to be safe? I heard it's dangerous there. Even when I arrived and the first few people that I talked to, they would bring up issues of safety and issues of crime. I think the best way to go about traveling, if you're living in a new place or just there for a vacation, keep your head on straight. Be smart, be responsible, don't go looking for trouble. And that's always been the advice that's been given to me as I go around and live in new places. I'm a little extra on my guard when I'm out and about. Downtown, there's so many more people. Since I stand out, I might be more of a target for something like a pickpocket. But as long as I keep my head on straight, I stay a little more on guard, a little more alert, I have felt no issues. Overall, it's only been 3 months, but I would say Kingston's one of the best places I've ever lived. I've loved it so far. I'm gonna watch some match film now, and then like I said, a little tour of the new place, maybe a view from above, the outdoor area. But the rest of my day is gonna be very boring. I'm just gonna be sitting on this couch and watching TV. So I hope you enjoyed.